The story begins with a poor boy who delivers takeout. His name is Fong Yi. Fong Yi had always thought that delivering takeout was a career with no future. It was not until he helped a female customer with a big favor one day that he realized how wrong he was. Chapter 1, Looking for a Strong Delivery Boy. Fong Yi is an ordinary delivery man with an ordinary and busy life. However, when he received an order with a strange note, things began to take an unusual turn. Looking for a strong and brave delivery man to deliver to my door, urgent. Such a blatant note made him think wildly that he might have met a horny woman. Although he had a lot of guesses in his mind, Fong Yi still delivered the food as usual. After arriving at the high-end residential area, the person who opened the door to greet him was not the dinosaur he imagined. The door opened quickly, and the fragrant breeze revealed a pretty face without makeup, which was so beautiful that Fong Yi was a little moved. "Why are you so slow? I'm almost anxious. Come in quickly." Qin Yinran, who was wearing pink pajamas, grabbed his arm. Caught off guard, Fong Yi was pulled in. No way. Is she really that hungry? Looking at her appearance, it's impossible that she is someone who is short of a boyfriend. She is so beautiful. It seems like it's not a bad thing for you. So should you just go along with her? Beauty, I'm just a delivery man, and the boss lady is waiting for me to go back. Fong Yi said weakly. Qin Yinran begged pitifully. I know, please help me. It will only take a moment. It won't take much time. Okay, then I'll give it a try. It'll only take half an hour at most. Fong Yi made up his mind and began to fantasize about whether this was an unexpected affair. But just when he was still immersed in the romantic plot he had imagined, the truth was like a splash of cold water on his face. It turned out that the beauty was Qin Yinran, and she didn't need him to do anything romantic but to help kill the big cockroach in the kitchen. Fong Yi handled this little thing with an embarrassed look on his face, feeling a little depressed, thinking that he was just being too sentimental. Thank you so much. I will give you a 5-star rating later. Bye. After leaving 901, Fong Yi, who was somewhat dejected, suddenly heard a sweet voice. Ding! The binding of the Xinhao takeaway system is complete. Congratulations to the host for completing a special takeaway and being rewarded with 1 billion Chinese currency. System? 10 billion? No one would believe that. Fong Yi thought someone was playing a prank on him. Beep beep. The phone in his pocket suddenly vibrated. He took it out and saw a text message on it. Dear customer, your account with the last digit 9527 has a deposit of 1 billion Chinese yuan, and the current balance is 1 billion and 2,100 yuan. It's actually true. Fong Yi pinched his face, and it hurt. It seemed that it was not a dream, and the system was really activated. Stay calm. I have a golden finger now. It's only 1 billion. It's no big deal. Just as he was trying to remain calm, his cell phone rang again. It turned out to be his mother calling. Chapter 2, Reward. Poison Supercar. Fong Yi, who suddenly became a billionaire, tried to stay calm and planned to go to the bank to transfer 20,000 yuan for his mother. Because his family did not have mobile banking, he had to go to the counter to handle it. However, there were too many people queuing at the ordinary counter of the bank. In desperation, he walked into the VIP room, but was ridiculed and despised by the female staff and a Mr. Wu because he was wearing a takeaway uniform. The female staff even mocked that the VIP room only handled business above 100,000 yuan and did not welcome little people like him. Fong Yi was neither humble nor arrogant, and directly proposed to withdraw all the 1 billion in the account. When this was said, everyone burst into laughter. Who would believe that a delivery boy had 1 billion? However, when the female employee accidentally saw the balance on the screen, she was completely stunned. It was really 10 billion. The atmosphere in the entire bank froze in an instant, and all the contemptuous expressions instantly turned into shock and disbelief. It's unbelievable that today's rich people still deliver food, even though they have so much money. Brother Ma wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. What's the big deal? The richer people are, the less time they have. They're just killing time, said another security guard. Mr. Wu spat fiercely on the ground. Bah, I think you were just pretending. Fong Yi returned to the milk tea shop, took the packaged milk tea, and continued on his way. Although he now has a system and a huge fortune, he decided not to give up the takeaway job because the task is still related to takeaway. When he arrived at the Trench Internet Cafe, he parked his electric bike at the door and walked into the hall with the takeaway. The front desk was a cute girl who was playing games. When she saw him, she immediately stopped the game and complained that the takeaway was too slow. After she took the milk tea and octopus balls, she suddenly stopped Fong Yi and asked him to help her play the game because her character was close to the finals. Fong Yi was a game fan, so he readily agreed. With his precise operation, Fong Yi showed his superb gaming skills, killing several opponents in a row, and finally won the game with 9 kills. The cute girl exclaimed again and again, not expecting Fong Yi to be a gaming master. However, when Fong Yi was about to leave, the system's sweet reminder sounded again, rewarding him with a Lamborghini Veneno sports car number 001, and the car key was already in his pocket. Fong Yi pushed open the door of the internet cafe and was about to go take a look at the luxury car, but was stopped by his classmate Zhang Zikai. Zhang Zikai was Fong Yi's classmate, and he often changed girlfriends because of his wealthy family. At this time, he stood in front of Fong Yi with a blonde girl, and laughed at Fong Yi for daring to pursue the school's beauty Lin Shuangshuang as a delivery man. Are you really going to pursue Lin Shuangshuang? Don't get your hopes up. You're just a delivery boy? Zhou Qi, the vice president of the student union, also likes her, Zhang Zikai sneered. This made Fong Yi's heart sink. Zhou Qi was a celebrity in the school, with a good family background, good looks, and outstanding talents. Many girls were attracted to him. Chapter 3. Drive away now. As soon as Fong Yi walked out of the internet cafe, he was approached by a cute girl named Xin. She smiled sweetly, took the initiative to approach Fong Yi, and asked to add his WeChat, which stunned the people around him, including his classmate Zhang Zikai. Xin's initiative to approach him broke the routine, and Zhang Zikai was surprised. In his eyes, Fong Yi was just an ordinary delivery man, but he was favored by such a beautiful girl. However, Fong Yi unexpectedly rejected Xin's request, and was even rude. Zhang Zikai almost spat out blood when he saw this. How could anyone reject such a beauty? Xin was not to be outdone and threatened to give Fong Yi a bad review. Fong Yi had no choice but to add her WeChat and left in a hurry. As they walked to the roadside, Fong Yi found a group of people gathered together to take pictures, and the focus was his luxury car, a limited edition Lamborghini Veneno sports car. The onlookers took out their mobile phones to take pictures and talked about this extremely rare luxury car. Xin recognized the car at a glance and exclaimed, "This is number 001, one of only 3 in the world. How did it appear here?" Fong Yi smiled calmly and signaled her to relax. At this moment, a group of women dressed as WeChat businessmen and their photography team squeezed into the crowd, trying to borrow Fong Yi's sports car to pose for photos, and even clamored to move Fong Yi's electric bike away. Faced with these arrogant WeChat businessmen, Fong Yi said nothing and simply hung the electric bike on the luggage rack on the back seat of his supercar. When he calmly took out the car keys, the lights flashed, and the clip-wing doors automatically rose. Everyone was stunned, especially those WeChat merchants who originally wanted to borrow the car to take pictures. The arrogance on their faces instantly turned into incredible shock. Fong Yi put on his helmet, started the sports car, and the engine made a low roar. Under the gaze of everyone, he drove away easily, leaving a speechless crowd of onlookers, leaving Qian Li and others confused. Chapter 4. Practice, practice, practice. Is my vision correct? The owner of the car turned out to be a food delivery man. Has the joke on the internet come true? It must be a show. People nowadays will do anything for traffic. That is, Qian Li and her group were so embarrassed that they had to leave in shame. Xin smiled thoughtfully and turned back to the internet cafe. The crowd of onlookers soon dispersed. Brother Kai, didn't you say Fong Yi was a loser? How come he's driving a supercar? The blonde girl asked in confusion. Could his parents be invisible wealthy people? I think he rented this car to show off his wealth. Zhang Zikai sneered. I've met his parents before. They were just low-level corporate employees. How could they be hidden rich people? The blonde girl obviously agreed with this statement. She smiled and said, he really spent a lot of money to pick up girls this time. The rental fee for the sports car must be quite high. If his parents knew about this, they would probably be so angry that they would vomit blood. Ha 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 ha. That's their own bad luck for giving birth to a useless son. The more Zhang Zikai thought about it, the more he felt that this was the case. His depressed mood was immediately swept away. Just wait and see. We're gonna have a good show tonight. Fong Yi drove his cool poison sports car back to the commercial street, and passers-by cast surprised glances at him. He locked the car and rode his electric scooter back to the milk tea shop. As soon as he entered the door, the owner Xia Wei handed him a cup of iced lemon tea and teased him with a smile. Are you in such a hurry to take the order because of that little beauty? Fong Yi was a little embarrassed, but did not explain much. Seeing that the business in the store was good, Fang Ye's break time was not long, and he received another takeaway order. The order note was a little unreasonable. Please bring 2 bags of rice up, otherwise I will give you a bad review. Fang Yi smiled helplessly, took some milk tea and snacks, and bought 2 bags of rice at the supermarket. When he arrived at the customer's downstairs, he found that the elevator was broken, and the customer lived on the 10th floor. In desperation, Fang Yi could only carry 50 kilograms of rice upstairs and arrived at the customer's door panting. The man who opened the door was a muscular man who looked like he was working out. He took the milk tea and complained that Fang Yi was too slow and ordered him to move the rice into the kitchen. Fang Yi, who was almost exhausted, reluctantly did as he was told. Just as he was about to leave, the system reward came again. Primary physical fitness enhancement. In an instant, Fang Yi felt that his body was full of strength, and his fatigue was swept away. Seeing Fang Ye's weak appearance, the muscular man could not help but sneer. You are so young, but you don't have enough physical strength? Look at your small body. You are so tired after carrying 2 bags of rice. You really should learn to exercise. Fang Yi was unhappy and retorted, Your muscles are just for decoration. You may not be stronger than me. The muscular man was furious after hearing this, and proposed to arm wrestle with Fang Yi to decide the winner. The two started a fight at the table after a disagreement. The muscular man thought he had a sure win, but he didn't expect Fang Ye's strength to be as indestructible as steel. As the force gradually increased, cold sweat broke out on the muscular man's forehead and his face turned pale in an instant. In the end, Fang Yi pressed the table easily, and the muscular man's wrist was strained, and he wailed in pain. Remember to give it a 5-star rating, or I'll come again next time. Fang Yi left calmly, and the muscular man sat on the ground, staring at his back in amazement, his heart filled with fear. After leaving the client's house, Fang Yi just got on his electric scooter when he received a message from the school beauty Lin Shuang. Fang Yi, I still think it would be more lively tonight with more people. Why not get a private room at the Ruihao Hotel and invite Xiaoli and the others over? What do you think? Ruihao Hotel? Fang Yi was stunned. This is a 5-star hotel that is very famous in the city, and the price is not cheap. In their original plan, they were going to go to a Western restaurant to spend time together as a couple. Chapter 5. This wine tastes bad. If it was the Fang Yi of the past, he might have backed out directly, but now, let alone a 5-star hotel, he can afford any higher-end meal. But he was still a little unhappy. It was not like Lin Shuang was unaware of her family's financial situation. It would have been fine if she had just called her roommates, but she actually chose that kind of place to celebrate. It was obvious that she was trying to make things difficult for him. After thinking for a few seconds, he replied, It's up to you to decide. I have no opinion. Okay, I'll arrange it then. See you in the evening. Remember to arrive early. Okay, I've already ordered the birthday cake. We'll take it over when the time comes. After putting down the phone, Lin Shuang's dormitory suddenly burst into laughter. Ha Shuang, I find Fang Yi is quite cute. He agreed so quickly, said roommate Liang Xiaoli, laughing. Another roommate Du Qian said, I think he was so busy delivering food that he was stupid. He didn't even buy Du what the Regal Hotel is. The minimum consumption for a private room is 18,888. I really want to see his expression when he gets the bill. Ha. I'm really looking forward to it. This isn't a good idea. He's just a poor student. Isn't it a bit too much? The last roommate, Rona, was kind-hearted and she still had sympathy for Fang Yi. When you are poor, you should be aware of your poverty. If you have no money but still want to pursue our class beauty, you're dreaming too much, right? Liang Xiaoli sneered. Today, we are letting him accept the harsh punishment of society in advance. This is actually for his own good. After graduation, he will have some self-awareness and will not have such wild dreams every day. I agree with Xiaoli. Du Qian agreed. It is important for people to know themselves. We are guiding people to be good. But what if he can't pay? Rona whispered. Don't worry, Xiana. Aki has already said that he just wants to scare him. This little money will certainly not be difficult for him. Lin Shuang smiled while applying eye cream. You are so worried. Is it because the other party is moved? Do you want to develop a relationship in the future? I can act as a matchmaker. Okay. Liang Xiaoli chuckled and said, Yes, although Fang Yi is poor, he is actually quite good-looking. Otherwise, the beauty in the department would not have listed him as one of the backups before. I'm not interested, Rona said quickly. Hey, when did you become so affectionate that you even called Aki? Du Qian said sourly. Zhou Qi is definitely the most handsome boy in school, and there are many girls drooling over him. You're just gossiping. Lin Xuanshuang rolled her eyes at her and continued to put on makeup. After get off work, Fang Yi drove to the cake shop to pick up the birthday cake. While driving to the hotel, he received a warm voice invitation. Hello, master. Are you free now? When Exine said sweetly, What's up? Can you come over and take me to eat chicken? I'm busy, maybe next time. Fang Yi hung up the phone directly. I thought it was a big deal. She actually asked me to play games with her. Was she kidding me? You. When Exine glared at the phone in her hand and finally resisted the urge to throw it away. I am a beauty after all. How could I be so unpopular? She patted her chest gently. Don't be angry if you get angry and get sick. No one can replace you. Fang Yi drove the extremely eye-catching Lamborghini Veneno into the Regal Hotel. When the security guard saw this limited edition supercar, he did not let him drive into the underground parking lot, but parked it directly outside the hotel gate, which could attract popularity and show the grade of the hotel, and also be convenient for distinguished guests. When Fang Yi got out of the car in ordinary clothes, the security guard didn't show any surprise. Nowadays, the richer the people, the more they like to keep a low profile, and the security guards are used to it. Entering the private room, Lin Xuanshuang and her friends were chatting and laughing. Liang Xiaoli warmly invited Fang Yi to sit between Lin Xuanshuang and Luo Na. Although Fang Yi and Lin Xuanshuang were friends, the others didn't think much of him. Seeing his ordinary dress, they were more contemptuous of him. Lin Xuanshuang casually mentioned that she was still waiting for Zhou Qi and Zhang Zikai to arrive. Fang Yi already knew that Lin Xuanshuang was getting closer to Zhou Qi, and it seemed that their relationship was clear. Luo Na handed him a bag of snacks out of kindness, and Fang Yi was not polite. After all, he was very hungry. However, his wolfing down of food attracted the contempt of others. Soon after, the door of the private room was pushed open, and Zhou Qi walked in with 99 roses, followed by Zhang Zikai. Zhou Qi's handsome appearance and calm demeanor made the four girls' eyes light up, especially Lin Xuanshuang, who was full of sweetness when she took the roses. Zhou Qi quickly blended into the atmosphere. He sat next to Lin Xuanshuang, his eyes full of pride. After a few rounds of greetings, Zhou Qi mentioned the Lamborghini Veneno outside the door, intentionally or unintentionally, and pretended to ask Fang Yi if he knew who the owner was. Fang Yi replied casually, I don't know. Zhou Qi was about to reveal Fang Ye's secret when Zhang Zikai directly broke the news. Fang Yi, I clearly saw you drive away the poison car during the day. Why are you denying it now? Lin Xuanshuang and her friends were all very surprised when they heard this. How could Fang Yi, a food delivery man, afford such a luxury car? Everyone turned their eyes to him, full of confusion and suspicion. Faced with such doubts, Fang Yi smiled calmly. You must be dazzled. This understated remark instantly blocked Zhang Zikai's way out. Zhang Zikai had no choice but to give up in disappointment. Seeing this, Zhou Qi decided to change the topic and raised his glass to propose a celebration for Lin Xuanshuang. However, after tasting the red wine ordered by Fang Yi, he suddenly frowned and said with a hint of sarcasm, Mr. Fang, the taste of this red wine seems to be a little off. Chapter 6, Don't Forget It. Fang Yi snorted in his heart. This wine was not what he ordered at all. Since the other party brought up this topic, he must have other purposes. Maybe it's too cheap. How about I order a few more bottles? Okay, it doesn't have to be too expensive, as long as it's not less than 1,000 yuan. Zhou Qi smiled faintly. I can't get used to drinking too cheap wine. So you want to take advantage of me? Fang Yi finally understood. It turned out that Lin Xuanshuang and Zhou Qi had already colluded with each other. No wonder they chose the Ruihao Hotel to set a trap for him. Well, since you want to slaughter me, then let me slaughter you to my heart's content. Fang Yi waved his hand, and a waiter quickly came over. Hello, sir. What can I do for you? Bring me the menu. I need to order a few more bottles of wine. Okay, wait a moment. After getting the menu, Fang Yi turned to the drinks page. He didn't recognize any of the winery brands, so he just ordered the expensive ones. 1 bottle of this, 1 bottle of this, and this. Sir, are you sure you want to order this bottle of wine? The waitress was startled by the fact that one of the bottles of wine had no price tag. She lowered her voice and asked, Its price, maybe a bit expensive. How much? This bottle of wine is the treasure of this store. I'm actually not sure about it. I have to ask the manager. The waiter said with a wry smile. Don't ask, just go ahead. Fang Yi said, Money is not a problem. Well, okay, please wait a moment. After the waiter left the private room, He went directly to the general manager of the hotel. What? The guest wants to order that bottle of wine? Qin Yinran's face suddenly turned strange after hearing the report. Yes, manager. He also said that money is not a problem and that we must order this bottle of wine. Could it be the owner of the poisonous vehicle? Qin Yinran had an idea and asked the security guard to pull up the surveillance video at the gate. When she saw Fong Yi getting off the supercar, she almost thought she was seeing things. Isn't this the delivery man who helped me fight cockroaches this afternoon? How could he be so rich? Manager, this is the wine he ordered, said the waiter, pointing at the screen. After thinking for a few seconds, Qin Yinran asked her to get the wine directly. Someone who could afford to make poison would naturally not care about the money for a bottle of wine. In the private room, Fong Yi ordered 3 bottles of red wine without hesitation. Zhou Qi secretly rejoiced, thinking that Fong Yi must be distressed. After all, as a student who delivers takeout, this meal plus the wine is not a small amount. Zhou Qi deliberately praised. Student Fong is really courageous, and he will definitely do great things in the future. Rona worriedly reminded Fong Yi. I didn't check the price just now. Why did you order 3 bottles? However, Fong Yi remained calm and said, It's okay. The price is okay. This confident attitude made others secretly despise him, thinking that he was just trying to show off. Soon, the waiter came in with a cart with 3 bottles of red wine on it. Zhou Qi took a look and recognized 2 bottles of expensive Margaux red wine. He was shocked and thought Fong Yi might not know about it. But he suppressed his emotions and thought to himself that he would laugh at him when the bill came. Next, Zhou Qi presented his gift, an exquisite Swarovski swan necklace. Lin Xuangshuang was full of surprise and thanked him repeatedly. The friends around were envious, and Zhang Zikai's girlfriend even said coquettishly, Brother Kai, I also want a necklace like this. Seeing this, Liang Xiaoli immediately turned to Fong Yi and asked, Fong Yi, what gift did you prepare? Take it out and let us see it. Everyone was waiting to see Fong Yi make a fool of himself. Fong Yi calmly took out a small black wooden box from his pocket and said softly, I bought a hairpin. Hearing the word hairpin, everyone couldn't help laughing. Du Qian sneered. A hairpin? Are you just trying to please Shuang Shuang? Zhang Zikai also sneered. Is it appropriate to give a hairpin to a grown-up like that? Facing the ridicule, Fong Yi remained calm and handed the box to Lin Xuangshuang. Xuangshuang, happy birthday to you. However, Lin Xuangshuang simply disdained him and rejected his gift. Fong Yi, I don't need a hairpin. You should give it to someone else. Fong Yi remained calm and said with a smile, Since you don't want it, I'll give it to Rona. He handed the box to Rona next to him. Rona was stunned for a moment and blushed. Give it to me? Fong Yi smiled and said, You just treated me to cookies. This is a return gift. Luo Na shyly took the hairpin, and the scene instantly became quiet. Zhou Qi and Zhang Zikai's faces suddenly became unhappy. Luo Na is also one of the beauties in the department. Although her ranking is not as high as Lin Xuangshuang, she is definitely a beauty. She looks pure and sweet, much better than the blonde. If Fong Yi really gets her, then wouldn't it be a blessing in disguise for him? Chapter 7 Don't pretend if you don't have the ability. It's still early, and we didn't drink enough just now. How about we go to a bar? Zhou Qi suggested. I know a new place where we can have a lot of fun. Okay. Liang Xiaoli and Du Qian raised their hands in agreement. It's not good to go back too late. What if the dormitory door is locked? Rona was a typical good girl, and she hesitated at the moment. What are you worried about? With a few of us here, are you still afraid that others will eat you? Lin Xuangshuang said generously. The dormitory closes at 11 o'clock, so we can just go back early. Okay then. Seeing that the sisters all agreed, Rona felt embarrassed to insist any longer. Zhou Qi glanced at Fong Yi and asked with a smile, Classmate Fong, do you want to go play with us? No, I have to deliver takeout tomorrow. You guys just have fun. Fong Yi was too lazy to be a light bulb. You can't make much money delivering food, right? Zhou Qi laughed. How about this? My dad's company is still short of a handyman. The monthly salary during the probation period is 4,000 to 5,000 yuan. You can become a regular employee directly after graduation, and you will have all the 5 insurances and 1 housing fund. Would you consider it? Fong Yi shook his head. No, I think delivering food is good, and there will be some unexpected surprises from time to time. After hearing this, several people looked at him with disdain. What kind of surprise could a lousy delivery man possibly bring? Waiter, please pay the bill. Lin Xuangshuang waved her hand, and the waiter who had already prepared the bill hurried over. Excuse me, who is paying the bill? She asked, bending over. Fang Yi said, let me do it. Although the meal tonight was a bit unpalatable, and Lin Shuang had taken it upon herself to invite so many people, he still decided to keep his promise and pay the bill. The waiter said with a smile, hello, sir. This is the bill for tonight. Please take a look. Fang Yi picked it up and frowned. The room costs 45,500. After hearing this number, Liang Xiaoli and the others smiled at each other. But Luo Na alone felt a little reluctant. Oh my god, why is it so expensive? Fang Ye's face darkened, and he pretended to be shocked and slowly took out his old mobile phone from his pocket. The waiter was a little confused. This guy drives a supercar worth tens of millions, but he thinks this meal is too expensive. Is he a miser? Seeing the gloating expressions of others, Fang Yi was silently praising his own superb acting skills. How about letting me pay for it? Just when everyone was watching with great interest, Rona suddenly stood up. This time, not only Lin Shuang and her roommates, but even Zhou Qi and Zhang Zikai were stunned. I didn't expect that Rona is actually a wealthy woman. She could just take out tens of thousands of dollars so easily. Xiaona, are you drunk and talking nonsense? Liang Xiaoli couldn't believe it. Luo Na usually dressed much more simply than other people, and she never bought cosmetics or anything. The three of them thought it was because her family conditions were not good. I'm not drunk. Rona took out her cell phone directly from her bag and actually wanted to pay for Fang Yi. Zhou Qi finally couldn't help it. He sneered and said, Student Fang, isn't it a bit too much to ask a girl to pay for you? Zhang Zikai also chimed in. That's right, if you don't have money, don't act cool. Lin Shuang said hypocritically. Don't blame him. In fact, this matter is still my fault. The hotel I chose is too expensive and beyond his ability. Fang Yi didn't say anything, just hugged his shoulders and watched their performance. You can't let a girl treat you to a meal. If this gets out, people will think I, Zhou Qi, am shameless. Zhou Qi said seriously, it's just over 40,000 yuan. I'll pay for it. Fang Yi, I really don't know what to say to you. You should have said earlier that you don't have money. With this performance, it would be strange if Shuang would be your girlfriend. Du Qian said sarcastically. Luckily Zhou Qi is here tonight. Why don't you thank him quickly? Why should I thank him? Fang Yi smiled faintly. I only said it was a bit expensive, but I didn't say I couldn't afford it. He was the one who was in a hurry to come up and show off. Fang Yi, how can you talk like that? Zhou Qi means well. If he doesn't help, you will have to stay in the hotel and wash dishes. You should be grateful, Liang Xiaoli said angrily. Although Lin Shuang didn't say anything else, her thoughts could be seen from her expression. Fang Yi, who was ungrateful, had become the target of public criticism. Luo Na wanted to speak up for him, but was stopped by Lin Shuang. Even the girl with yellow hair began to speak coldly to him. Student Fang, I hope you will remember this lesson forever. If you don't have the ability, don't pretend to be cool. Otherwise, you will get yourself into trouble sooner or later. Zhou Qi said in a conscientious tone, when you get into society, you will know whether what I said makes sense or not. I've learned a lot. Thank you, classmate Zhou. Fang Yi put his phone away after he finished speaking. Since Zhou Qi likes to show off so much, let him do it. It's not too much trouble to just say thank you. It's no big deal, just less than 50,000. Zhou Qi took the bill and glanced at it casually, then took out his mobile phone to pay. Sir, there is another bill below. The waiter reminded kindly. There's another one? Zhou Qi asked in surprise. Yes, sir, because there is not enough space for one order. The waiter said apologetically. So that's how it is? Zhou Qi opened the bill with an indifferent look on his face. Consume one bottle of sinking ship for 2,210,000. Total, 2,255,500 yuan. What trough? After seeing the total price, Zhou Qi couldn't help but swear. His face changed from white to red, and then from red to black in an instant. Seeing that his cousin looked unhappy, Zhang Zikai took the bill curiously, but was also shocked. Waiter, you must have made a mistake on the bill. This junkie boat costs more than 2 million. Are you trying to rob us? Zhang Zikai questioned loudly. Hello, sir. This bottle of red wine was bought by our manager from the Carlsberg auction last year. All the certificates and invoices are available. I have brought them to you as well. The waiter was well prepared and handed over all the certificates. Zhou Qi took it and took a look. It was indeed Carlsberg's auction certificate. The amount on the invoice was exactly the same as the amount on the bill. The hotel did not charge a penny more. It could be said that they were very conscientious. The Ship of Silence is a legendary red wine. It was supposed to be sent to St. Petersburg under the rule of Tsar Nicholas II by Heidsieck Company in the early 20th century. However, the ship carrying the wine was sunk by a German warship, leaving it sealed in the cold waters of the Gulf of Finland for nearly 80 years until it was discovered by Swedish divers in 1997. The waiter introduced with a smile. As early as 2013, the Ritz-Carlton Winery set its price at $280,000. After giving a long and eloquent introduction, Zhou Qi's face became increasingly darker. This time he really shot himself in the foot. He wanted to show off and humiliate Fang Yi at the same time, but who knew that the price of this red wine was so expensive? Not to mention Zhou Qi himself. Even his father would not dare to consume such expensive wine easily. Archie, what should we do now? Lin Xuanshuang was a little at a loss when she heard that the bottle of red wine was worth more than 2 million. The other girls were also dumbfounded. More than 2 million yuan was enough to buy a sports car. What should I do? I won't buy this. Zhou Qi threw the bill directly on the table. Whoever ordered the wine pays for it. How could you be like this? Rona said angrily. You were the one who offered to order the wine, and you drank the most just now. Are you turning your back on it now? Fang Yi came by car, so he didn't drink a drop of alcohol, just juice. I did ask him to order some wine, but did I ask him to order something so expensive? Zhou Qi said angrily. I won't talk about the 2 bottles of Margot, but I will definitely not pay for this bottle of Ship of Silence. In fact, he couldn't afford it even if he wanted to. Even if he maxed out his credit card, he couldn't get enough to pay 1 million. Student Zhou, honestly, it was you who rushed to pay just now, right? Fang Yi sneered. I just gave you a chance to show off. Who can you blame? If you don't have the ability, don't pretend to be awesome. Now look, you've brought yourself into trouble, haven't you? Fang Yi repeated what he had just said exactly, and Zhou Qi was so angry that he almost vomited 3 liters of blood on the spot. Chapter 8, why don't you play by the rules? Whatever you say, I just won't pay. He made up his mind and actually started to act like a cheater. Fang Yi directly hit Zhou Qi's sore spot. You don't have the money to pay? I don't have it. Do you have it? Zhou Qi said angrily. Sorry, I really do have it. Fang Yi smiled slightly. You've blown me up like a bull. Zhou Qi sneered. If you have any, I'll kneel down and call you Grandpa 3 times. No thanks. I don't want a grandson like you. Fang Yi smiled and took out his bank card. Beautiful lady, can I pay with the card? Sure, sir. The waiter took the bank card and swiped it lightly on the POS machine. After Fang Yi entered a few passwords, the payment was completed. What's going on? This guy is actually worth more than 2 million? Liang Xiaoli and the others almost dropped their eyes. They saw clearly that it was not a credit card, which meant that Fang Yi really had that much money on him. Lin Xuanshuang's eyes became extremely complicated when she looked at Fang Yi. She never dreamed that the spare tire she had given up was actually an invisible rich second generation. How rich must his family be to be able to casually spend more than 2 million on a meal? I still have to deliver takeout tomorrow, so you guys can chat slowly. I'm leaving first. Bye. Fang Yi waved his hand and strode out of the private room. Oh my god, could it be that we were all wrong? That poison car really belongs to Fang Yi. Zhang Zikai slapped his thigh. This guy is really good at hiding things. No wonder even the internet cafe owner took the initiative to add him on WeChat. Impossible, where did this guy get so much money? Zhou Qi shouted with red eyes. He must have swindled it. He's just a lousy delivery man. How can he compare with me? After being severely abused by Fang Yi, he was almost mentally collapsed. By the way, Nana, take out the gift Fang Yi gave you and have a look at it. Du Qian suddenly thought of what Fang Yi had just said. That hairpin was much more valuable than the Swarovski swan necklace. Okay, Rona was also a little curious. After she opened the seemingly simple wooden box, an exquisite hairpin inlaid with black diamonds came into everyone's sight, and there were invoices and certificates next to it. After picking up the certificate, Du Qian's voice changed. Oh my god, this is Alexander's black swan hairpin, limited to 100 pieces worldwide, priced at 230,000. After hearing this, Lin Xuanshuang almost impulsively snatched the hairpin back. What sin had I committed to give away such an expensive hairpin? No, I must make up for my mistake. Fortunately, I didn't explicitly reject Fang Yi today, so I still have a chance to make amends. If I pursue him, with my looks, I will definitely be able to leave Rona behind. After making up her mind, Lin Xuanshuang quickly picked up her bag and chased after him. Zhou Qi staggered and almost fell down. Now, his face was completely trampled under the feet of Fang Yi, and he was rubbed hard several times. After seeing Lin Shuang's regretful expression, he knew that all his efforts tonight had gone to waste. Fang Yi, in a good mood, whistled as he got into his car. When he was about to start the car, a tall woman dressed as an office lady came over and gently knocked on the car window. He turned his head and saw that it was Qin Yinran, whom he had met during the day. His system was activated at her home. "Beauty, what's up?" "Little brother, I didn't expect you to be such a secretive person. You deliver food during the day and become a rich second generation at night." Qin Yinran smiled slightly. Her beauty was so stunning that Fang Yi couldn't help but swallow his saliva. "Same here, you're doing pretty well too." Fang Yi pointed at the other person's name tag. "So you're the general manager of the Ruihao Hotel? Don't you think so?" Qin Yinran straightened her body slightly, revealing her proud figure. Her pair of slender and round thighs looked particularly attractive. "Let's get to know each other formally." Qin Yinran. Fang Yi. Fang Yi stretched out his hand and shook her lightly. The soft and boneless hand felt really good. "I've been wanting to see Poison for a long time. Do you mind giving me a ride?" "I don't mind." Fang Yi still had a good impression of Qin Yinran, and of course he would not reject her like when Xian. The scissor wing door rose automatically. Qin Yinran held the hem of her skirt with her hands to avoid exposing herself, then sat sideways in the car. This scene happened to be seen by Lin Shuang, Zhou Qi, and others. Before Lin Shuang could shout out, Du Yao had already let out a low roar and drove out of the hotel amid the salutes of several security guards. "Hate it. I'm a step slower." Lin Shuang stomped her feet in hatred. For the first time, she hated the exquisite high heels on her feet. They looked good, but she just couldn't walk fast with them. "Brother, is that woman in the sports car from your hotel?" Zhang Zikai handed a cigarette to a security guard. "Are you talking about General Manager Qin?" The security guard took it with a smile after seeing that it was still a soft Zhonghua cigarette. "She is not from our hotel. To be more precise, our hotel is her family's property." "So she is the eldest daughter of the Qin family?" Zhou Qi was completely stunned. There are 4 major families in Huahai: Qin, Qi, Lu, and Wang. The Qin family has always been at the top of the list with its absolute strength. You can imagine how strong its financial resources are. "Brother Qi, no wonder Fang Yi can afford a supercar worth tens of millions. It turns out he's hooking up with a super rich woman." Zhang Zikai's tone was extremely sour. He couldn't understand why such a good thing didn't happen to him. "Bah, I never thought that I, Zhou Qi, with my lifelong reputation, would lose to a gigolo." Zhou Qi spat in hatred. Zhang Zikai came up with an idea. "Brother Qi, since Fang Yi is so shameless, should we give him some publicity?" "You mean, let everyone know about his relationship with a rich woman, so that he will be completely ruined in school?" Zhou Qi's eyes lit up. This was a good way to vent his anger. Zhang Zikai smiled and said, "That's right. I have a buddy who is the moderator of the school forum. I've just filmed the video. It can be uploaded after some processing. If I hire some netizens to lead the trend, I guarantee that he will become a hot topic in the school." "Let's do it." Zhou Qi nodded. "By the way, remember to mosaic the face of the eldest daughter of the Qin family. The Qin family is rich and powerful. If they pursue the matter, we will be in big trouble. Don't worry, Brother Qi. I know what I am doing, and I promise I will do it beautifully. Okay, I'll pay for the water army. If you do a good job, I'll reward you 50,000 yuan. "Thank you, Brother Qi." 10 minutes later, the Poison stopped next to a barbecue stall outside an upscale residential area. After seeing Qin Yin getting off the supercar, a man immediately picked up his phone. "Hello, is this Brotherly? The target has returned. She seems to be having barbecue here." "Yes, right on the main street." "Thank you for sending me back. I have no way to repay you, so I'll just treat you to a barbecue," Qin Yinran said with a smile. Fang Yi joked, "Why don't you play by the rules? If you can't repay me, then you should pledge yourself to me, right?" "You're dreaming." Qin Yinran rolled her eyes at him. "If you don't want to eat it, forget it. Who said we don't want to eat anymore? Let's go." Fang Yi was indeed not full in the hotel. Although the abalone, shark's fin, and bird's nest were ridiculously expensive, none of them could fill his stomach. Barbecue was more to his taste. Seeing Qin Yinran skillfully ordering dishes, Fang Yi couldn't help but ask curiously, "Your net worth must be at least over 10 million, right? How can a fair, wealthy, and beautiful woman like you eat at a roadside stall?" "You are the same, aren't you?" Qin Yinran said with a smile. You drove a car worth tens of millions to deliver food and drank more than 2 million worth of red wine in one meal. And now you are sitting here, aren't you? That's right. By the way, ask the boss to add more chili peppers so that it will taste better. When the two were happily eating and chatting, a Wuling Hongguang stopped by the roadside with a squeak, and 7 or 8 unruly young men got out. They all had tattoos to varying degrees and looked like social people. Passers-by took detours and did not dare to look directly at them. The leading man with a shaved head whispered, "Keep your eyes open and scare the men away. Don't hurt the women, and most importantly, don't hurt the boss. Do you understand?" "I understand, brother rat. Let's go." A group of people walked towards the barbecue stall in a mighty manner. Chapter 9, Reward Street. "Please take a seat." Seeing someone coming, the boss immediately came forward to greet them warmly. "Get out of the way and stop talking nonsense. We are not here to eat skewers." Brother Rat pushed the boss away and walked towards Fong Yi and Qin Yinran. After strengthening his physical fitness, Fong Ye's sixth senses were far superior to those of ordinary people, and he immediately guessed that the other party was coming for him. A bald man stepped on the stool and said, "Beauty, my boss sees that you are good-looking and wants you to have a few drinks with him. How about it?" "I'm not in the mood." Qin Yinran refused without hesitation. "Hey, do you know who you were talking to?" The bald man raised his voice. "My boss's name is Sanjiang Rat Brother. Have you heard of it?" Seeing the aggressive men, the diners nearby quickly paid the bill and left to avoid being implicated. A Bentley about 20 or 30 meters away from the barbecue stall slowly lowered its window, revealing a greasy and powdered man's face. "Young master, please get ready first. It will be your turn soon," said the driver with a nod. "Are these guys reliable?" Wang Chong asked. "Don't worry, master. Brother Shu is a well-known tyrant in the Three Rivers. He is very sensible and will never hurt you," the driver assured him solemnly, "and their movements are very realistic. Miss Qin will definitely not be able to tell." "Then I feel relieved. Chapter 10 delivery is more important." "Stop!" Fong Yu was outrageous. The man dared to act like a hooligan in broad daylight. He grabbed the man's collar and pulled hard, and the man sat down on the ground. The man was startled, but when he saw that the person who did it was a delivery man who looked like a student, he regained his confidence. He was trying to struggle to stand up when Fong Yi kicked him back. The kick was so powerful that it almost made him faint. "Boy, do you know who I am?" the man screamed angrily. "I don't care who you are. If you dare to bully Sister Wei, believe it or not, I will chop off your hands." Fong Yi didn't care who he was. The proprietress had always treated him well, so it was natural for him to stand up for her. Okay, you delivery man, just wait and see. Within 10 minutes, I will make you kneel down and beg me." The man finally got up, pointed at Fong Ye's nose and cursed. Fong Yi sneered and kicked the man out of the milk tea shop. The man rolled out of the door like a rolling gourd, and passers-by looked at him sideways. Xiao Wei in the store was lying on the cash register crying and losing control of her emotions. Fong Yi walked up to her, patted her shoulder gently, and handed her a tissue. "Sister Wei, don't be afraid, I'm here." "Who is that man?" Xiao Wei sobbed and replied, "He is the deputy manager Ma of the property, who is in charge of collecting rent. Just now he proposed to increase the rent by 30%. I begged him a few times, but he put his hands on me." Hearing this, Fong Yi slammed the table angrily. "A 30% increase all of a sudden? This is simply robbery." Xiao Wei shook her head helplessly. "This commercial street has a good location, and the property rent increases every year. My store has low profits to begin with, and if the rent increases so much, I won't be able to continue operating it." Fong Yi patted his chest confidently. "Don't worry, leave it to me. I promise that the rent will not increase by a penny." Xiao Wei was surprised and chuckled. "Why do you say that? Do you know the owner of the commercial street?" Fong Yi smiled slightly. "I guess so. He's my relative, just leave it to me." Just as Xiao Wei was hesitant, a group of uniformed security guards suddenly came in from outside the store, led by Deputy Manager Ma, who had just been driven away. Deputy Manager Ma said coldly with a smug smile, "Boy, I'll give you two choices. Either kneel down and kowtow and admit your mistake, or get beaten up and thrown out." Xiao Wei turned pale and tried to dissuade him. "You can't do this. I'm calling the police now." Deputy Manager Ma laughed. "Report whatever you want. Let's see who the police will believe." Then he threatened, "Also, starting from next month, your rent will increase by 50%. If you don't accept it, get out." Fong Yi sneered, pulled over a folding stool, stood in front of Xiao Wei, and faced the group of security guards in front of him. When the atmosphere between the two sides was tense, the door of the milk tea shop was suddenly pushed open, and a middle-aged man walked in with a dignified aura. When Deputy Manager Ma saw the man, he trembled with fear. Xiao. Mr. Xiao. Xiao Yang, the general manager of Jinding Commercial Street, asked coldly. Deputy Manager Ma, what are you doing here? Are you planning a fight? Deputy Manager Ma hurriedly explained, but Xiao Yang didn't give him a chance. He walked straight to Fong Yi and asked respectfully, Excuse me, are you Mr. Fong? Everyone in the store, including Deputy Manager Ma and Xiao Wei, was stunned. How could a heavyweight like Xiao Yang be so respectful to Fong Yi? Fong Yi responded calmly, It's me. Let's find a quiet place to talk. Xiao Yang nodded and immediately dispersed Deputy Manager Ma and others. After leaving the milk tea shop, Fong Yi followed Xiao Yang into his Bentley. In the car, Xiao Yang handed over a thick document. This is the property rights contract for Jinding Commercial Street. Please read it and sign it. Fong Yi waved his hand and said directly, No need to read it. Just tell me where to sign. Also, don't reveal my identity in the future, so as not to affect my continued delivery. Xiao Yang and the female secretary looked at each other in silence. This was an industry worth more than 30 billion yuan, so why was it as ordinary as cabbage in the other's eyes? Even the job of delivering takeout was much more important than it. Chapter 11. Now there is salvation. After signing, Xiao Yang said, Mr. Fong, you will be my boss from now on. The monthly profit of the commercial street will be deposited into your account. If you have any instructions, you can call me directly. Fong Yi smiled and said, Nothing else. What about Deputy Manager Ma? Xiao Yang said, Mr. Fong, please rest assured. I will tell him to get out right now, and all those security guards will be fired. The security guard should stay. Captain Liu is a good guy, so give him a raise. Fong Yi said with a smile, One more thing, I think the rent of the milk tea shop is a bit high. You decide. Understood. I'll pass on the instructions later. The milk tea shop will be rent-free from now on. Fong Yi shook his head and said, Free is too much. How about this? You can reduce the rent by half and never raise the rent again. Xiao Yang nodded and said, Okay, I'll do as Mr. Fong tells me. By the way, don't bother me if there's nothing important going on in the commercial street. I still have to concentrate on delivering food, so I'm very busy. Okay, Mr. Fong. Seeing Fong Yi return to the milk tea shop, Xiao Yang and the female secretary finally came back to their senses. Mr. Xiao, your boss is worth at least tens of billions. Why is he willing to be a delivery man? Isn't this too degrading to his status? The female secretary was puzzled. In my opinion, the boss must have fallen in love with the lady boss of the milk tea shop. Xiao Yang said with a smile. Miss Xia is indeed beautiful and can arouse a man's desire to protect her. It is normal for the boss to be fascinated by her. Then just go after him openly. Why rely on your identity as a delivery girl to get close to him? With your boss's wealth, I guess few women can resist you. The world of rich people is really hard to understand. The female secretary thought she was as pretty as Xiao Wei, and she suddenly felt a little unbalanced. A few minutes later, Fong Yi rode his electric scooter to deliver the takeaway. I delivered 8 takeouts in a row in the afternoon, and everything went very smoothly, but the reward was not triggered. The last takeaway before getting off work was delivered to an old residential area. When he was leaving, the female customer suddenly called him. Wait a minute, little brother. Can you help me take some trash downstairs? Fong Ye's mind moved. Basically, every time the reward was triggered, it was because of the customer's additional request. Could it be that this time? Okay. He agreed without hesitation. Thank you so much. Please wait a moment. I'll be there right away. The female customer immediately smiled and brought 2 large bags of garbage in less than a moment. After throwing the garbage into the garbage station downstairs, the system voice really rang. Congratulations to the host for completing a special takeaway, rewarded with mastery of driving skills. After riding the electric scooter, Fong Yi felt completely different. He seemed to have merged perfectly with his vehicle and could clearly feel every advantage and disadvantage of the electric scooter. Is this the legendary integration of man and car? He started the car, and the electric scooter flew out like an arrow, nimbly weaving through the rolling traffic, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. After returning to the milk tea shop, Xia Wei hugged him happily. Sister Wei, what are you doing? Fong Yi almost couldn't breathe. There was nothing he could do. The other person's figure was too good. Then Deputy Manager Ma has been dismissed, and I just received a call from the property management, saying that the rent will be reduced by half from next month. Xia Wei's eyes turned into crescents as she smiled. Tell me the truth. Was this your doing? It's not me. Fang Yi deliberately prolonged his tone. Who else? I finally don't have to worry about this anymore, thank you. Xia Wei couldn't help but kiss Fang Yi on the face. It's just a small matter. The boss is my relative, but he keeps a low profile and doesn't let me talk about it everywhere. It was the first time that Fang Yi was forcibly kissed in his life, and his face suddenly turned red. Fang Yi, this milk tea shop is the result of my hard work over the years. This time, it's all thanks to you. Xia Wei also realized something was wrong and quickly let go of his arm. Starting from this month, I'll give you a salary increase of 1,000 yuan. How about that? As long as you are happy, Fang Yi said with a smile, that my guy might retaliate in the future. If I'm not around, remember to call me. Okay, I'll be on the lookout for him. It's getting late now, so I'll let you go off work. Thank you, Sister Wei. After returning to school, Fang Yi found that all his roommates were there. Zaiwai Easy, you finally came back? The boss Meng, who immediately hugged his shoulders. I haven't seen you for 2 days, and you actually drive a Danny. It was so hard for us to hide it from you. How could I hide anything? It's your fault for always being elusive and disappearing every night. Fang Yi said with a wry smile. The second brother, Hu Fei, said sourly. Fourth brother, you are so lucky. You have hooked up with such a young, beautiful, and rich woman. I admire you. Rich woman, who is that? Fang Yi was stunned. Don't pretend, fourth brother. Although the video and post have been deleted, the whole school knows about your glorious deeds now. Third brother Qin Yiming said with a sly smile. That rich woman has an amazing figure, especially those long legs. She's definitely the best-looking girl ever. If she gets tired of you one day, why don't you recommend me to her? Fang Yi finally understood. It was most likely that someone had filmed the scene of Qin Yinran getting into the car last night and posted it online with exaggeration, labeling himself a gigolo. Although he was maliciously slandered, he had no intention of defending himself. As the saying goes, the innocent are innocent. Meng Hu said loudly, Fourth brother, comparison is the thief of anger. The three of us brothers are getting angrier and angrier the more we think about it, so we decided to give you a good beating tonight. Do you accept this? Among the 4 people in the dormitory, only the second one, Hu Fei, had a girlfriend, and he was dumped in less than a month. Of course, they were indignant that Fang Yi had such good luck. You have the final say. The last thing Fang Yi lacked at this moment was money, so of course he agreed without hesitation. Okay, let's go to the hot pot restaurant right now. After we've had enough, we'll go to the 4-person team and go to the best-equipped trench internet cafe. Boss, isn't the trench a bit too far away? Qin Yiming asked. Hu Fei laughed and said, You don't understand, third brother. The network administrator girls in the trenches are famous for their beauty. If you run into the boss lady, I guarantee you'll drool. Really? Tan Yiming said happily. Okay, then the trenches. Of course, a Daewoo car couldn't seat so many people, so Meng Hu called another online taxi. The 4 of them went to the hot pot city for a big meal, and then went to the trench internet cafe. To the 3's regret, the proprietress when Exine was not there, but Fang Yi was relieved. Being very wealthy, he directly booked a top-notch private room, which cost 688 yuan per hour and provided all kinds of drinks and alcohol. There was also a beautiful network administrator in AJ uniform who accompanied him throughout the whole process, which made Meng Hu and his companion stare at him. Brothers, if you are a man, jump into the airport and fight. Meng Hu's level is average, but he has great momentum. The other 3 followed, shouting and yelling. When they were having fun, when Exine walked into the internet cafe with an unhappy look on her face. Boss Exine, why do you look a little unhappy? A female network administrator noticed her abnormality. Don't mention it. It makes me upset. The car I ordered 3 months ago hasn't arrived yet. It's so frustrating. When Exine said angrily, I can only drive the Z4 to the appointment tonight. It's a miracle that I can win. She suddenly remembered something, turned around and asked, By the way, is there someone named Fang Yi online? Let me check. The female network administrator operated on the computer for a few times. Yes, he booked room number 1, and there were 4 people in total. We're saved now. When XIN was overjoyed and ran to the private room. When she appeared in the private room, Meng Hu and the other 2 were stunned. Hu Fei whispered to Qin Yiming, See? This stunning beauty is the boss lady of the trench. We are here for her. Qin Yiming almost drooled. With such a beautiful boss lady, it doesn't matter if it's twice as far away. What is she doing here? Meng Hu was a little confused. Of course, She must have been attracted by your handsomeness, Hu Fei said with a smile. Except for the fourth brother who is already in a relationship. Let's compete fairly. Good. The three of them had just reached an agreement when Xin came over. Just as their hearts were pounding, when Xin actually sat down next to Fang Yi. Chapter 12, Dongming Mountain Race. When Xin suddenly approached Fang Yi and put her arms around him, instantly attracting the attention of the people around them. Fang Yi frowned helplessly. Why are you here again? Let go. Wait until I finish this game before I tell you. When Xin let go of her hand obediently, and the three roommates were stunned. Lend me your car. When Xin smiled sweetly and directly stated her purpose. Are you talking about poison? Fang Yi asked in confusion. When Xin nodded and explained, I have a race tonight, but my car hasn't arrived yet. Fang Yi handed her the keys readily. Be careful. It doesn't matter if the car is destroyed, but nothing can happen to people. When Xin kissed him on the face happily, and his roommates were heartbroken. As night fell, more than a dozen supercars gathered at the foot of Dongming Mountain, and the scene was bustling with people. Young men and women shuttled among the cars, took photos and videos with the car owners, and the scene was very lively. A green-haired man named Lu Fei was sitting in a McLaren P1, and next to him was the equally beautiful Li Qiqi. Lu Fei asked impatiently, Is your friend coming? Li Qiqi smiled sweetly. Don't worry, she will definitely come. The competition was about to begin, and the onlookers were all talking about. Lu Xiao will win the championship again tonight. At this moment, a wine-red Lamborghini Veneno slowly drove into the stadium, instantly attracting everyone's attention. When Xin opened the car window, revealing her beautiful face, which amazed everyone. At the start of the race, four sports cars sped out like arrows. When Xin drove Du Yao and quickly took the lead, followed by Lu Fei. The two cars chased each other on the track of Dongming Mountain, especially the famous 28 consecutive bends, which made the competition more intense. With his familiarity with the track, Lu Fei gradually narrowed the gap with Du Yao as he approached the top of the mountain, and finally even surpassed when Xin in the 9 consecutive hairpin bends on the way down the mountain. When McLaren entered the last 2 kilometers of the straight ahead of 4 cars, when Xin took a deep breath, stepped on the accelerator, and Du Yao roared, chasing like an arrow from a bow.